Hi everybody, we're in the office of Trendy Adventurer again. Today we will talk about cartoons from different countries. My name is Nadia and I'm from Kazakhstan. And I will show you the true Soviet cartoon.
I'm Rhys from Australia. You're going to see an Australian cartoon today.
I'm Rhys from China, so I will show you a very classic Chinese cartoon today.
Let's do no more talk and let's just watch them. So this is a traditional Soviet cartoon. It is called Free from Prostokvashino, and it talks about a boy who takes all his pets and goes to the village to live on his own. So the main characters, there is Uncle Fodor, who is not really an uncle, he's a boy, and then there is his cat Matroskin, and then there is his parents. They don't have names, they're just parents.
Okay.
Yeah, the dog Sharik, the postman Pechkin, who is the postman of the village.
The boy, when he's sitting on the couch, what's he looking at? A babushka book.
Yeah.
Is it called babushka?
No, it's not called babushka. This is actually a toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the toy is called matryoshka.
Yeah, so that's what my brother always used to call them babushka dolls. I think that's the only name he knew.
This is matryoshka doll. Yeah, this is again about the book, and this is actually a newsletter, magazine for kids.
A magazine for kids?
Yeah, Morzilka.
Do you know if they actually had houses like this with these signs?
Yeah, the house, the notes on the house actually means that the house is free, and if you want to live here, you can come and live here. It basically means the house in the countryside.
Yeah.
And well, they're not the best houses. It's just everything which is left over from the apartment in the city is brought to dacha.
Leftover? What do you mean leftover?
It's like old furniture and old materials.
It's like second-hand goods.
Yeah.
I see.
And a lot of some houses are forbidden.
In Australia and America, I think there are some laws that if you stay in a house like this, it becomes yours, for a certain amount of time. Do you know if you have that?
No, I don't know if we had that.
Okay.
But it's there was a lot of mass in these Dutch areas. Yeah, maybe there was, maybe there wasn't.
Okay, as you explained, it's like a house for free. I'm not very familiar with history, so is it linked or related to the Russian history?
So I think it's not it's not like in real life somebody will actually leave a house and say it's free. But there were a lot of abandoned houses at that time because people would just not have time, or they would just leave to some other country.
Okay, so this cartoon is originated from one of the ancient novels in China. It's called Journey to the West, 西游记. So it's basically four main characters: the Monkey King and his master, Monk Tang Sen, and also the pig, 猪八戒, and another monk, Sha Wu Jing. Yeah.
Okay.
So they are all have their different backgrounds, and they will go to the West to get the Buddhist scriptures and to learn the culture. So the god give them a series of big challenges along the journey, and they have to figure out how to solve the how to beat and fight with the monsters and the ghosts and everything, so they can learn from the journey. Yeah.
Who is this guy with the mop and
The wand.
the wand or mop?
A mop.
Hair cleaner.
Yeah. Well, he is the first master of Monkey King. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the Monkey King learned all the skills, all the magics from him.
From him.
Yeah.
All these monsters that appear in this movie, are they also from the ancient stories, or are they just invented by somebody who is making the cartoon?
I would say they're also probably borrowed some ideas from the other like legends, Chinese legends, but most of the monsters are created by himself.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
there are a lot of like classic monster characters like Bai Gu Jing, the bone monster,
The bomb monster?
skeleton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and also the monsters who eat babies. Yeah.
All right. What a scary time it was.
Yeah, and his monsters also reflect some like social problems that time.
So, you know, there's that old Chinese story called 哪吒闹海.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this guy looks a lot like that guy. That I guess he's the teacher in that, and that thing he's holding is also like that guy from 哪吒闹海 also has one. So what is that thing, and what like is he the same guy?
Well, first I can tell that all the like teachers in the legendary looks the same like that. Yeah, and second, they are different. Yeah, because哪吒was way earlier than Monkey King. Yeah, and哪吒's master was 太乙真人, and this one is
太乙真人.
菩提祖师. So they are from different backgrounds. Yeah.
Yeah, but they all have that like long white beard and the robes.
Yeah, that's a like symbol of wisdom and power.
What are those robes called? Do you know, is this not Hanfu, right?
It's 道袍.
道袍.
Yeah.
Where he's like pointing like this, right? So obviously it's not a gun, it's before gun. What is it?
Well, it's a like gesture. It's a symbol of sword in Chinese Kung Fu. Yeah, and the Monkey King has this because he's very like powerful, very confident, and he's very brave. Yeah, so he has this to against the monsters. That means that he's ready to like to fight with them. Yeah.
You said it's from Kung Fu, right? So if I watch some Kung Fu movies, then I'll see some characters in those movies do this gesture too.
Yeah.
There's also a character in Dragon Ball Z called Frieza. You know, the white guy with the purple thing on his head. Yeah. So when his main attack is like shooting beams, and I'm pretty sure it's this. You think that came from Chinese culture?
It's hard to say, because in Japanese culture, there are a lot of Chinese elements. But I think in the Dragon Ball, he used this to like concentrate the energy, the power, so he can yeah, that's just what
it's
I
kind
think.
of similar. I think it's kind of similar to this.
Yeah.
Like this is like you're focusing on them.
Yeah.
Focusing power, focusing attention.
Yeah.
I guess. So I want to introduce to you an Australian cartoon called Blinky Bill. I thought it's probably still better to introduce something closely connected to Australian culture. Blinky Bill, it's about a koala and his friends. All his friends are Australian animals. There's a kangaroo, there's a platypus, wombat, all Australian animals. It was written by a woman named Dorothy Wall. Is that right? Yeah.
So, as far as I can understand, their village is like kind of resembles the countryside.
Yeah.
So, for example, in the cartoon that I showed, it was just the exact like copy of the countryside that we get.
Right.
So, is it really connected with the countryside of Australia, or is it just the imaginary thing?
So like you see these like houses and buildings.
Yeah, like with straws and.
So there's these, and there's also the trees in the background, right?
Yeah.
And the dirt, the red dirt.
Yeah.
So I can tell you for sure that the trees and the red ground is like 100% Australian style.
All right.
So outback Australia. So I know that Dorothy Wall, the writer, she lived in New South Wales. And if you go over those mountains and you go maybe 3 hours more into the heart, it's not the heart yet, but deeper into Australia, the earth turns red like this.
Oh, okay.
And the trees look like this. They're called gum trees. It's what koalas eat, gum leaves.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So yeah, the earth is red because there's lots of iron in the soil. That's why Australia has lots of mines.
Oh, okay.
That's why we sell
Oh, I
lots of
didn't know
iron to
that.
China. Yeah. And yeah, these houses, as for the structures, the houses, I think when Australia was originally colonized, so when the ships holding English prisoners came to Australia and they started to build simple houses on Australian land, they did have this type of like wooden house. Of course, now you don't see this.
Why all the animals are wearing like masks and hats?
Okay, so you just need to know a little bit of Australian history. The first Australians came over from England on ships.
Yeah.
Lots of prisoners, right? So, to put it simply, the first Australians didn't really trust the law. So after we made a community in Australia, what happened is some of these people they became criminals basically. Some of these criminals were good, they helped people. Other criminals, they basically didn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
They just did it for money, right? And they meant to give them to the people and keep some for themselves. So they became like heroes to the first Australian people.
Heroes?
Right? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
These are called bushrangers, these criminals. Right? So it says that they said in the introduction, right, that they're a bushranger band. They're going to the house of that rich pelican.
Yes.
The most famous was Ned Kelly. He made a suit out of metal, and that's why this kangaroo here is wearing the bucket on his head. All right, so today we looked at 3 different cartoons from around the world. So we had Blinky Bill from Australia, yeah?
We have Journey to the West from China.
Yeah, we had 3 from Prostokvashino from Soviet background. Tell us what was your favorite cartoon when you were little in the comments. Subscribe to this channel to know more about Chinese culture and travel in China, and like this video to support us. Thank you. Bye. Chinese culture and traveling in China. Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. Bye.